Hi everyone, my name is Max Sandhu. I work for Leicester Partnership Trust, LPT. My role is Workforce Information and Systems Officer. I've created this video because it's Deaf Awareness Week this week. I wanted to share with you some of my experiences working for LPT as a deaf staff member. Some of the positive parts of working at LPT as a deaf person are that my work team always take the time to communicate with me, have a chat, have a laugh and a joke with me. We talk about the football and whatever else is going on. I'm never excluded. My team will always take the time to get my attention, to talk to me about the news and anything else that's going on. If I want to go to a meeting or a conference or any other event, my team are happy for me to book sign language interpreters for me to go to those events. When I'm working in the office, sometimes I receive emails that I don't completely understand because English is my second language. I used to give these emails to my line manager, and he would help me with my written English. He would amend my emails and then I would send those off. If I received any replies that I didn't understand, I would ask my manager for help with understanding those. But I started to feel that it wasn't appropriate for me to be giving my manager extra work. So I asked him if it would be okay for me to have regular sign language interpreters at work, and he gave me the go ahead. So now I have regular sign language interpreters who work with me every week. I use sign language interpreters because they enable me to make phone calls, they translate documents in English, and they help me to chat to my colleagues. This means that I can work independently and do things myself. There are some things about working as a deaf person that are challenging or more difficult. I remember going for a job interview at Leicester Royal Infirmary. I sat down in the waiting area. I ended up waiting quite a long time. It ended up being almost 2 hours. Uh, there was a man coming over who was running the interview session, and I thought I'd better go and have a word with him. So I went over and wrote down, I explained that I was deaf and that I'd been waiting for nearly 2 hours. And I asked where my sign language interpreter was for the interview. The man looked through the list of candidates and found my name. I said, yes, that's me. I explained that I had arrived on time for the interview, but I'd been waiting for them to come and get me. They asked if I could sit down and wait a little bit longer. The man left and had a conversation with somebody, and then came back to me and wrote down a note and said, oh, can you wait? We'll try and find a sign language interpreter if that's all right. And I just thought, it's not going to be possible for them to find an interpreter straight away at such short notice if they've not booked one in advance. And I thought it was best if I left at that point. And they did apologise. The next day, I went back to work in the office, and my line manager said to me, oh, how did your interview go yesterday? I explained that they didn't book a sign language interpreter for my interview, and my line manager went, oh, that's not good enough. I think you should write a complaint about that. So happily, he helped me get that resolved. When I'm working in the office, I see people walking past me, other colleagues walking around, and they'll wave and give me a thumbs up. "You all right? You all right, Max? All right?" And I just always get this same thumbs up. And I want to say that I don't really like that. That doesn't feel like substantive communication. I go home and people say, "How was your day?" And I think, well, I had a thumbs up at work today. I remember a colleague who left after 5 years at the job, and they left me a note saying, "Oh, I've really enjoyed chatting with you." And I thought, well, actually, the only conversation we've ever had is you giving me a thumbs up. I want to feel like other colleagues do. I want to have a chat, and I want colleagues to make the effort to come and have a chat with me. If you're creating videos, I'd really encourage you to make sure to include subtitles and have an interpreter on the screen, and make sure it's a qualified sign language interpreter. This will make sure that your video is accessible for deaf colleagues and deaf members of the public. I'm not the only deaf person that you're going to meet, and not all deaf people are the same. There might be deaf people in your team, or you might meet deaf patients. I would say don't give up on communicating with deaf people. When you meet a deaf person, ask them what they want and how they want to communicate. They might want you to provide an interpreter. They might be happy to lip read you. They might like to write things down. Ask the deaf person, they're the expert of their own experience. They might ask you to book a qualified sign language interpreter because they can't read written English. It might be their second or third language. Some deaf people might be happy writing notes and passing these back and forth. I would also encourage you to make sure that the deaf person has really understood you. They might just say, "Oh yes, I've understood," but do ask them and provide an interpreter if needed. I would really like LPT and the NHS to have a go at learning some basic sign language. Signs such as good morning, good afternoon, good evening, how are you? It's really easy. You can definitely do it. I'd also encourage you to learn how to fingerspell the alphabet A to Z. A worksheet will be sent out, including a left-handed and right-handed version of fingerspelling British Sign Language alphabet. When I'm at work, I'd love for colleagues to come over and have a chat. Don't be frightened of coming to speak to me. Come over, get my attention. I'm happy to meet you halfway if you make the effort too. Maybe you could write things down. We can write notes, that's fine too. I might have a sign language interpreter working with me to help us communicate. Don't worry if you can't sign. Do come and have a chat with me. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget, if you see me round and about in the office, don't just give me the thumbs up. Do come over and say hi. Thank you very much for watching. Happy Deaf Awareness Week.